Good morning and welcome to our 10 minutes at 10 for everyone today. So today we are still talking about profit hacks and how to shortcut your way to an extra monthly 1K. Today we're going to talk about sales, in particular using your staff and late payments. Two very different subjects, but I'm going to cover both of them today. So this week so far we've given you 6 tips for how to increase your sales. We've looked at increasing all prices across the board, an extra 1%, 2%, 3%, 5%, whatever suits your business. So just a blanket increase for absolutely everybody. Highly unlikely that somebody's going to complain or start shopping around if you're increasing prices just by 5%. A little more probably is a little more work to implement without upsetting the customers. We also looked at individual customers and reviewing each of your customer contracts to look at where you may or may not be leaving profit on the table by undercharging customers for services that they're already having. We also looked at selling more services to clients. So this is stuff that you already do, but could you be selling more of that stuff to your existing clients? So are there things that you do, services that you offer that you just don't have that awareness with that client? Maybe they just don't know about it. We also looked at hidden extras. So charging for all of those extra things that you do when the client says, can you just do this? Can you just do that? That's a real common profit leak where you do the extra for the client, but you don't charge them for them. By the time you said yes and you've realized how big the task is, it's too late to go back, or it feels too late to go back and then charge the client retrospectively for something that you've already agreed to do for them. So we talked about how to monetize that scenario. We also looked at new products, so sending new products out to existing customers. We also looked at digital products, which helps us generate new customers and bring new customers into our fold. So today I'm going to talk about tip number 7, which is staff. Turn your staff into sales machines. So it's quite often, if you have members of staff, people in your team that are talking to customers, they're often at the front end. So they see what the customer wants or have those conversations with the customer that perhaps you wouldn't. So how can we turn those into sales machines? So obviously we need to then talk to our staff and make them aware of what we've got, what we're selling, what we're doing, how we can improve the lives of our customers by working more closely with them. But sometimes a little incentive helps. So what some of our clients do is have weekly meetings with their sales staff, and they'll look at the conversations they've had this week. Now, monthly meetings is fine, but if you have it monthly, it's almost too long. They don't have that conversation. You've got too much stuff happening all at once, and the time has gone, they've forgotten the conversations they've had with the client. So a 10-minute weekly meeting would be super helpful just with the staff to work out what's going on with each of your clients this week, and specifically looking for opportunities to monetize that and either upsell services or cross-sell services, or it might be that you find out your client has a particular pain point in one area, and maybe you have a product, or you could build a product, develop a service that could help with that. So have that weekly meeting with your staff and see how you can use them to get a better insight into your customers' requirements and their needs of that week. Now, in the same way, using your staff more effectively, you could also be looking at implementing perhaps a commission-based bonus scheme. So maybe they get 5% of any new sales, maybe they get 10% of any new sales. Now, it's a fine line whether you do an incentive for extra sales, which might not be profitable or might not be paid. So you might want to think about having an incentive scheme for your team to get them bought into the whole process of constantly looking to monetize for your customers. It sounds quite harsh, but that's what we're in business for, right? We're in business to make a profit. So use your staff, put a profit-related scheme, a bonus scheme into place. So the process we have in our business is that I give the team 10% of all new sales. So that way they are completely bought into whatever it is that we're selling, whether it's the membership club, whether it's a new client that we're working to. It helps them feel like they own more of it. They've got more of a vested interest in it. They talk to the clients on a daily basis. So if there's something that they see that the client might need but hasn't got already, we have that conversation literally on a day-by-day basis about, you know, would they benefit from this? Would they benefit from that? Now, if I then manage to upsell that to the client, then the team get a percentage of that because they've been involved in helping to upsell that process and build my business. So we try to have a very involved, collaborative, you know, we're all in it together kind of feel, kind of culture for the organisation, and it works really, really well for us, and it could do for you too. Now, it's not always a great idea to incentivize based on sales, because that sale might be rushed and it could be non-profitable, or it might be that the person that you're selling to doesn't pay. So my sales are all based, or my commission scheme in Caseron is all based on paid sales. So long as the customer pays, the boys get their commission. Now, this works for us because our overheads are really small, so we don't have to worry too much about whether a new sale is a profit or not. It generally 90% of it will go to the bottom line. Now, the challenge for some businesses is to make sure that you're delivering profitable sales, in which case you can incentivize staff to help grow your business, but also focus on cost control and cost management by giving them a percentage of net profit. You could also do a combined you can put together a combined bonus scheme where it's part based on turnover and part based on profit. So that way you've got the bias towards, you must increase the sale, but that sale must be profitable. So that also works. And we have a couple of clients that do that really, really effectively. Now, if you don't have any staff and you can't get those staff involved in, or for whatever reason those staff might not be involved in generating new sales or pushing new sales for you, you could outsource sales. We have a couple of clients who really successfully outsource their sales activity. So they pay a smaller retainer for the monthly services and the ongoing daily activity, but they pay a high commission. But once they've paid that commission, the rest of that sale is theirs. Now, the sales, the commission's usually about 25 to 35%. So it's a big chunk of the income loss, but that's income you wouldn't have had if you hadn't have made that sale. So structure that process well and structure your arrangement with your outsourced supplier, and it could be extremely profitable for you. So turning your sales staff into sales machines is really good. You can see Henry down there just looking at the door. So it's because Harry's not here. He's all restless today, aren't you, Henry? So next, our last tip for growing sales for today is to charge for late payments. Now, that's not a sales strategy as such, but this is lost profit. If you have people who are not paying their invoices on time, or you have challenges with them being a bit delayed and being a bit slow to pay, one of the things that you can put into place is a proper late payment charges scheme. So it takes a little bit of work and a little bit of setting up, but the concept is quite simple. Your client is late, they've paid you late, they haven't paid at all at this point. They're late in paying their invoice, which in your terms and conditions, hopefully you have something that says if you are late paying your invoice, you will be charged a late payment compensation charge, and you will be charged interest on those. Now, the interest itself is quite small. So under the Late Payments of Commercial Debts Act of 1998, we have the ability to charge interest and compensation for late payments. It's 8% interest above the Bank of England base rate, which is at 0.75% at the moment. So if you had a £1,200 debt, and this is including VAT, so you can charge for the late payment of that as well. So your total invoice value is £1,200. You would multiply that by 8.75%, which is £105 charge for a year for that late invoice. So you divide that by 365 to get a daily interest rate, in this example, of 28.7%. And then you multiply that by the number of days that your invoice is late beyond your payment terms. So if your payment terms are 15 days, you can start charging interest from the 16th day if it's in your terms and conditions. If it isn't in your terms and conditions, it would be 60 days afterwards. So make sure you have that in your T's and C's. That's super important. Now, also, you can charge a compensation fee for the effort and the trouble that you've had to go through to chase that late payment and to collect that debt. So initially, you can charge a compensation fee of £40 if the debt is up to £999.99, or £70 if it's £1,000 to £9,999.99. And then you can charge £100 per invoice if it's over £10,000. So if you had 100 invoices raised to a customer and they were all paid late, then even if they were only of £100, you could charge them £40 compensation for each invoice that's late. But if you have 100 charges on a single invoice, you can only charge them one charge of £40 for that invoice being late, or it'd be, the £70 because it would probably go into the higher bracket. So the compensation charge is a one-time charge for one late invoice. But if you had one or two of those late per month, then that's another £100, £120 of extra profit that you wouldn't have had in your business otherwise, just by arranging for late interest charges to be put into your customers. Now, there's a chicken and egg kind of situation with late interest charges. On the one hand, some people don't like to charge them because it does upset the client a little, but the client's late, they haven't paid, the cash is in their bank account, not in your bank account. You've done the work, they've promised to pay, but they haven't paid. So it's not fair. And, at the very extreme, some clients or some people might think of it as, people stealing or borrowing from you because they're not paying their debts. So that money needs to be incentivized to be paid into your bank account and not theirs. And late payment interest charging and charging these compensation fees is a very, very good incentive. People don't like it. They don't like the penalty or feeling like they've done something wrong. So rather than using you to fund their current business, don't allow them to do it by implementing charges for late payments. So it's quite easily set up in Xero or QuickBooks, and then you have to manually calculate the interest charge based on the amount that's outstanding on the invoice, and then you build that into your invoice structure. So it's X many days as a quantity times your daily rate, and then you just send them out one of those invoices each month as the debt progresses. Hopefully that will encourage them to pay you sooner, which gets your cash in quicker, and it gives you a little bit of extra income for that month. If you've got quite a few invoices that are overdue, it's a really good discipline to get into to try and encourage people to pay sooner. But make sure that it's in your T's and C's. They know that when they're signing up to buy from you in the first place, that they will be penalised if they don't pay you within your agreed terms, and then do it. So don't say you're going to do it and don't do it. Make sure it happens. So that's tips number 7 and 8 for generating more sales and trying to bring an extra monthly 1K into your business. We'll see you tomorrow where we move on to purchases. Great to see you. Speak to you soon. Bye.